Get your CGR shirts and glassware at ClassicGameRoom.com. Classic Game Room is brought to you by Magnum Skywolf. CGR is supported by fans on Patreon. Thank you. Welcome to Classic Game Room for a special review of The Eyes of Bayonetta, an art book all about the development and creation process of the game Bayonetta. It's amazing. Sit back and enjoy. Look into the eyes of Bayonetta. What do you see? I see a 224-page hardcover book with a companion DVD, the likes of which have never been witnessed in the intergalactic space arcade before. If you like Bayonetta, you're going to love this book. You don't even need a video game console to read it, although owning a Sega Genesis would help. From Udon Entertainment with a 2010 copyright, The Eyes of Bayonetta collects the incredible artwork that went into this extremely stylish and cool game. One that I reviewed a few years ago and really enjoyed. While it's a fun game, what makes it stand out as something special is the art design, and that's captured here. That's why this book is so good. There's just nothing else quite like Bayonetta. Here's a look at the table of contents, and as you can see, every aspect of Bayonetta is covered in here. Like, everything has an incredible amount of detail. Everything was designed from the ground up, frequently multiple times, and that's what you'll get with The Eyes of Bayonetta. So I'll just apologize heading into this review. Once again, I'm sorry I'm spending your money for you. Here's a look at my copy of Bayonetta, which I reviewed for the PlayStation 3 a while back, and you know, I do want to play it again. I enjoyed it a lot the first time, and I've been meaning to play the second game, but just haven't gotten around to it. But after reading this thing, I kind of feel like digging into the Bayonetta universe once again. Beyond me just repeatedly saying how great it is, let's take some more close-up looks. But keep in mind all the way through this video that what you see on screen is not nearly as impressive as looking at the book in front of you. It's just a sight to behold, printed on glossy paper. It's actually pretty tough to film. It's taken me a while to figure out how to best light this, and I ended up just using that giant bright thing in the sky. I forget what it's called, but the intergalactic space arcade orbits it. It's got a glossy hardcover, which I have a love-hate relationship with. Sure, it looks nice, but it's also easy to scratch. And my favorite part of it is not just the artwork itself, but the fact that it details the entire creation process with excerpts from the development team behind Bayonetta. And it's fun to read it and see what the developers and artists had in mind was often very different than what the publishers and marketing companies had in mind. Yet somehow they still ended up at the right place. She's very flexible. She's also not real. No human actually looks like that, and that's what gives Bayonetta such a unique style, and I think confused a lot of people. It's not just a suggestive game or an action game, it's really a work of art. And I'm happy to see that a publisher gave it some additional attention in this hardcover way. While this is a couple years old by now, I like the trend that I'm seeing where games are being broken out into their parts and released to different forms of media, like soundtracks on vinyl and art to print. This is a great way to slow down time like Witch Time and enjoy the layers of intricacy that make up Bayonetta. And all that went into it. I really can't speak highly enough of it, so let's just soak in some more of the visuals. And trust me, it looks even better in person. This is a heavy book, too. Your coffee table's not worthy. I've read a number of art books over the years from Shiro Masamune, one of my favorite artists, or at least before he got totally weird. And I always enjoyed reading his internal struggle with game designers and publishing companies, where he wanted to design A, B, and C, but they wanted him to design D because it sells, or because it won't offend a certain percentage of people. And I get the sense here that a lot of these designers and artists feel the same way. I actually think ultimately they were given quite a bit of freedom to let their talent shine through. Now, as you can see, by the end of this book, you'll get to know Bayonetta fairly intimately, even more so than the game, but there's also a lot of other characters and end bosses and bad guys and environments, all of which required a lot of design work that's covered here. If you enjoyed Bayonetta at all, I can't possibly see how you would be disappointed in The Eyes of Bayonetta. It's such a wonderful book, and I have a huge Classic Game Room shout out and thank you going all the way to Gustavo from Los Angeles, California. Thank you, Gustavo. But wait, there's more. It also comes with a companion DVD. It's a heavy book. Look at this thing. It's great. The Eyes of Bayonetta. And if we look at the very back here, there is a companion DVD, so let's check it out. The DVD that comes with this book is icing on an already awesome Truxton cake, which I personally think would taste like blueberries. I'm not sure though. It's a 55-minute documentary. It's actually not that exciting from the filmmaking standpoint. The book is far more visual, but if you have any interest in the actual game design process, the film is phenomenal. I actually really enjoyed it. 課せられた研修とか課題とかをもう全部無視して勝手に書いてて Mostly the crew sitting down for interviews. It's subtitled, but I love the shots of the early stages of development. 敵はね、確かなんでか知らないんですけど、その時柔道家のモデルがあったんですよね。柔道家だか空手家だかわかんないですけど、Wii で And it goes into all the techie stuff like sound design and music and whatnot. It's a nice film. It's a nice addition. やっぱそれとちょっと女性らしさっていうところに欠けてしまうし、強烈な個性を出すことができないなと思ったんで、基本的にギター禁止っていうような。As an editor and audio guy, I love the sound design part, and the fact that these guys are into Sega as much as I am. I'm just spending your money for you, over and over and over again. If you like Bayonetta, you simply cannot live without this thing in your collection. It's tough to review a book. I don't want to give away too much, but I want you to make an informed buying decision. The Eyes of Bayonetta is not an inexpensive book, but I think it's worth it, especially considering you get a bonus film in addition to everything contained within these pages. I like the concept art parts. I'm flipping through that right now. This goes into almost unimaginable depths of detail, covering everything from the outfits to the backgrounds, and even the achievements. The designs for the achievements are in the book. This is just insane. I love it. If I have any complaints at all about The Eyes of Bayonetta, it's the title. I think it should have been called Everything You Wanted to Ask Bayonetta But Were Afraid to Because She Can Kick Your Ass. I can't recommend this thing highly enough. Also, the printing quality is spectacular. If only all games had this much imagination put into them. Just everything in the game. Everything hiding in the corners. Every shoe, every bad guy, every weapon. All the blades here. This is just incredible. That was the receipt. Thank you again, Gustavo. I'm reading this cover to cover, thoroughly enjoying it. In some respects, I think I like the book even more than the game. And I like the game a lot, too. This one is super duper, highly recommended. If you're going to buy the game anyway, buy it through ClassicGameRoom.com. Classic Game Room is supported by fans on Patreon. Thank you. Now prepare for the Lord Carnage Club, where I celebrate these backers on Patreon by shouting their name in a volcano! Derek Langley. Beer is the trick. Stephen Chucknick. From New Jersey, Michael Fernandez. People not named Michael Fernandez aren't Michael Fernandez. Al Stiver. Woo! EDM. Jason from British Columbia. Philipp Straubenmueller from Vienna, Austria. Cue the thunder. Jeff, CapDauntless, Breyer. Cue the lava. I don't know what lava sounds like. It sounds like this. Jack Stavris from Australia. Kane, Master of Thunder. Chip Sankvale, Fighter of Space Bees. Woo! Rick DeBarros gets the extra disco. Michael and Arianna Nelson, Fighters of the Future. That's enough disco, because now it's time to shout, Busy Signal! That's right, and keep the volume loud and the party rocking for Sean Zoltek. Really? No. Sean Zoltek! Sergio Matthias Hergert! Tubular. Will.